The empty parking spot hit me like a physical blow. I stood there, keys dangling uselessly in my hand, staring at the space where my silver Civic should have been. The car I'd spent 3 years saving for, working double shifts and sacrificing every small luxury. Gone. My name is Peyton, and this was the moment everything changed. "Oh, you're home early." Mom's voice carried across our suburban driveway, artificially bright. She stood in the doorway, perfectly manicured as always, wearing that particular smile that meant trouble. "Where's my car?" The words came out smaller than I intended. "Come inside, dear. Your father and I need to discuss something with you." The living room felt like a trap. Dad slouched in his recliner, avoiding eye contact. Camila perched on the armrest, scrolling through her phone with poorly concealed excitement. "We had to make a difficult decision today," Mom began, clasping her hands. "An opportunity came up for Camila." "You sold my car?" The reality hit me all at once. "Without asking me?" "Now, Peyton," Dad finally looked up. "Let's not make this dramatic. The title was still in our names as co-signers." "Because you insisted. I paid for every penny of that car." Camila finally glanced up. "God, you're being so selfish right now. This is literally a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Wesley's family invited me to join them in the Maldives for 3 weeks. Do you know how expensive those flights are?" "So you stole my car?" My voice cracked. "We didn't steal anything," Mom cut in sharply. "We made a practical family decision. Camila needs this trip for her influencer career. It's an investment in her future." I turned to Dad, desperate. "You promised. When I bought that car, you promised." "Promises change, kiddo. Family adapts." He wouldn't meet my eyes. "What about my job? How am I supposed to get to work?" Mom waved dismissively. "There's a perfectly good bus stop 2 blocks away. Honestly, Peyton, you're always so practical. This is your chance to show that practical nature. Help your sister achieve her dreams." Camila bounced up, phone in hand. "Look, I already posted about it. Best family ever, making dreams come true. The engagement is insane." I stared at her screen. My car, now sold, with Camila posing next to it. Caption gushing about sacrifice and family love. The likes were rolling in. "I need some air." I turned toward the door. "Peyton," Mom's voice turned stern. "Don't make a scene. This is happening. Be happy for your sister." I stopped, hand on the doorknob. Behind me, Camila squealed about bikini options. Dad cleared his throat awkwardly. Mom started discussing flight details. Just like that, I was dismissed. Written off. The practical daughter who would obviously understand, who would sacrifice without complaint. Again. My phone buzzed. Clark, my best friend since college. "Hey, you okay? Saw Camila's post." I stepped outside, hands shaking as I typed. "They sold my car for her vacation." His response was instant. "What the actual fuck? Coming to get you. 10 minutes." I sat on the front steps, listening to my family's excited chatter through the door. Every laugh felt like a knife. Every casual dismissal of my loss burned deeper than the last. Clark's beaten-up Corolla pulled up exactly 10 minutes later. One look at his face, concern mixed with barely contained rage, almost broke me. "Get in," he said. "We're getting coffee and making plans." I slid into his passenger seat, fighting back tears. Through the living room window, I could see Camila taking selfies, Mom adjusting her hair just so. Dad had returned to his newspaper. "I can't keep doing this," I whispered, "being their doormat, their backup plan, their practical, boring daughter who exists to make Camila shine." Clark pulled away from the curb. "So don't." "What?" "Don't be their doormat anymore. Be something they never saw coming." I thought about my savings account, carefully built over years, about the investment books I'd been studying late at night, about all the times I'd swallowed my anger, played my role, been the good daughter. They think they know me, I said slowly. They think I'll just take this, like always. Will you? I watched my house disappear in the side mirror, something cold and determined settling in my chest. No, they want their practical daughter. I'll show them practical. They'll never see me break, but they will see me win. Clark grinned. Now that sounds like a plan. I smiled back, and for the first time that day, it felt real. Sometimes the last straw isn't dramatic. Sometimes it's just an empty parking spot and the sudden crystal clear understanding that you're done being invisible. The 6 a.m. bus smelled like stale coffee and resignation. I wedged myself between a man in a construction vest and a woman applying mascara, clutching my laptop bag close. 3 weeks into my new routine, and it still felt like punishment. My phone lit up with Camila's latest Instagram post: white sand beaches, turquoise waters, and her perfectly posed figure in a designer bikini. Caption: living my best life. Sorry, not sorry. Palms shine. That your sister? The makeup woman had noticed my screen. She's gorgeous. I locked my phone. Yeah, she is. The bus lurched to a stop, and I squeezed past the growing crowd. Another 10-minute walk to the office, my heels already pinching. A car horn blared as I crossed the street. Clark pulling up in his Corolla. Surprise! He held up a coffee cup. Thought you could use this. I collapsed into his passenger seat. You're literally a lifesaver. How's the stealth wealth plan going? I pulled out my phone, this time opening a different app. Up 12% since last week. That crypto tip you gave me? Gold. Nice. He navigated through morning traffic. And the family? Still celebrating Camila's incredible journey of self-discovery. Mom called last night to ask if I could send them some vacation food recommendations, because apparently I'm their personal Google. Did you? Sent them a link to the nearest McDonald's. Clark snorted coffee through his nose. At work, I buried myself in spreadsheets, taking lunch at my desk to research more investment opportunities. My salary wasn't huge, but every dollar counted now. Every minute was ammunition. My phone buzzed. Camila. Hey sis, miss you. Quick, can you Venmo me $200? Exchange rate is crazy here. We'll pay back, promise. I stared at the message for a full minute before responding. Sorry, bus pass ate my budget this month. 3 dots appeared immediately. OMG, still taking the bus? That's so sad. Maybe if you worked harder. I switched off my phone. That evening, Clark came over with takeout and his laptop. We'd turned these investment sessions into a nightly ritual, spreading papers across my tiny apartment floor. Look at this, he pointed to his screen. Tech startup looking for early investors. High risk, but the potential return. I'm in. I was already transferring funds. Just like that? Just like that. I showed him my portfolio. His eyes widened. Holy shit, Peyton, this is serious money. And they have no idea. I allowed myself a small smile. Mom called me practically boring yesterday. If she only knew. Clark's face turned serious. You know you could just leave, right? Take this money and start fresh somewhere else. Without the revenge part. It's not about revenge. I paused. Okay, it's not just about revenge. It's about showing them exactly who they underestimated, who they stole from. My phone buzzed again. This time, a group text from Mom. Family dinner tomorrow, celebrating Camila's amazing adventures. Peyton, please bring dessert. Something nice this time, not store-bought. Clark read over my shoulder. You going? Of course. I started gathering the investment papers. The practical daughter always shows up, right? And sits quietly while they praise Camila? I thought about my growing portfolio, about the 3 job applications I'd secretly submitted to firms in other cities, about the apartment listings I'd been browsing. For now, I opened my laptop to check one last investment. Let them think nothing's changed. Let them think I'm still their backup plan, their safety net, their boring daughter who'll always be there to clean up their messes. And then I'll show them exactly how practical I can be. My phone lit up with another Instagram notification. Camila on a yacht this time, champagne in hand. Caption: Some people work for success, others are born for it. Nay. I showed Clark the post. She has no idea how right she is. I am working for success, and it's going to be spectacular. He raised his coffee cup. To being practically boring. I clinked my cup against his. To being practically ruthless. Later that night, after Clark left, I got one more text from Camila. Bet you're still stuck, huh? Don't worry, some people are just meant for smaller lives. Play. I saved the screenshot. One day, this message would make an excellent reminder of why some bridges deserve to burn. Mother! Camila's shriek echoed through my phone speaker. I need another $2,000 right now. I held the phone away from my ear, watching Mom try to calm her down through our three-way call. It was 3 a.m. my time, but apparently Paradise was having a crisis. Sweetheart, we've already sent so much, Mom started. Wesley's family is going to this exclusive resort tomorrow. I can't be the only one not going. Do you want me to look poor? I muted myself and opened Instagram. Sure enough, there was Wesley. Tall, tanned, and flashing expensive watches in every shot. His profile screamed trust fund baby, but something felt off about the Rolex collection he kept showcasing. Peyton? Mom's voice snapped me back. Are you still there? Yeah. Could you maybe help your sister out? Just this once? I unmuted. I'm taking the bus to work, Mom. Remember? God, you're so useless. Wesley says. What does Wesley say? I interrupted, suddenly alert. Nothing, just that he knows people who could help me invest, make real money, not your boring office job money. I sat up straight. What kind of investments? I don't know, some crypto thing. He says it's guaranteed returns. Unlike you, he actually knows about making money. My stomach dropped. I'd seen enough investment scams to recognize the signs. Camila, don't. I have to go. Wesley's calling. The line went dead. I immediately called Clark. You need to see this, I said when he picked up. Wesley's Instagram. Something's very wrong. 20 minutes later, we were both staring at Clark's laptop in my apartment. He'd managed to dig deeper than I could. Look, he pointed. Same watch in different lighting. It's photoshopped. And these resort tags? He's never actually tagged at the location, just posting their photos. A scammer. A good one. Clark scrolled through more posts. Your sister has no idea, does she? She wouldn't listen even if I told her. I pulled up my own laptop. But maybe we can... My phone rang. Mom again. Peyton? Her voice was shaky. We need to talk about something. Your father and we may have done something. What did you do? We needed money for Camila's trip. The car sale wasn't quite enough, and you know how important this is for her career. I spread through my chest. Mom, what did you do? We might have used your name on a loan application, just a small one. You have such good credit, and we knew you wouldn't mind. I hung up. Clark watched me carefully. Peyton, they used my name. My voice sounded distant. They forged my signature for her vacation. He was already typing. Check your credit report now. The next hour was a blur of phone calls and credit checks. By dawn, I had the full picture, a $15,000 personal loan taken out in my name. The payments were already late. I can fight this, I said, pacing. Report the fraud. Have them arrested. And they'll claim you agreed to it. Clark looked grim. Family court cases get ugly. My phone kept buzzing. Camila's Instagram showed her and Wesley at another expensive restaurant. Mom's texts grew increasingly panicked. I opened my investment portfolio. The numbers had grown significantly over the past months, enough to cover the loan, enough to destroy them. Don't, Clark warned, reading my mind. Not yet. Then when? When it hurts the most. He started gathering evidence of the fraud. Let them dig deeper. Let Wesley show his true colors. Let them think they're winning. My phone lit up with a text from Ella, Camila's best friend. Hey, you should know Wesley's been asking about your job, like how much you make. Camila told him you're the responsible one with savings. I showed Clark the message. Looks like I'm not the only one plotting. Perfect, he grinned. Let them come to you. Let them think you're the safe option, the backup plan, the practical daughter. Exactly. He closed his laptop. And when they do, I'll be ready. I saved another screenshot of Camilla's latest post. Best vacation ever, thanks to my amazing family who always supports my dreams. Star. The caption made me laugh now. They thought they were winning, spending money they didn't have, burning bridges they couldn't afford to lose. They had no idea they were building their own trap. My phone buzzed one last time. A message from Wesley himself. Hey, Peyton, your sister talks about you all the time. Maybe we could grab coffee when we're back, talk about some opportunities. I showed Clark the message. Should I respond? Oh, yes. His smile was wolfish. Be the practical, boring sister they expect, for now. I typed back. Sure, Wesley, I'd love to hear all about your investments. The front door slammed so hard the windows rattled. Camilla stormed into the dining room, mascara streaking her cheeks, designer luggage abandoned in the hallway. He's a liar, she threw her phone across the table. A complete fraud. Mom rushed to comfort her, while Dad pretended to be deeply interested in his coffee. I sat quietly, picking at my dinner, waiting. All those investments, Camilla sobbed. The special crypto account he set up for me, everything's gone. How much? Mom's voice trembled. 20,000! And the credit cards, I maxed them all out because he promised the returns would cover everything. I took a slow sip of water. What happened to Wesley? Disappeared, blocked me everywhere. The resort said his credit cards were fake. I had to call Mom and Dad to book me an emergency flight home. Mom shot me a desperate look. Peyton, sweetie, about that loan in your name. The one you forged my signature on? The room went silent. Dad finally looked up. Now, kiddo, we can explain. Can you explain the missed payments too? The ones destroying my credit score? Camilla's head snapped up. You have good credit? Like you could take out more loans? Absolutely not, Mom cut in, then softened her voice. But maybe, Peyton, you could help us figure something out. You're so good with practical things. I pushed my plate away. Let me get this straight. You stole my car, forged my signature, ruined my credit, and now you want my help? We're family, Camilla wailed. You're supposed to help family. Like you helped me get to work after selling my car? Oh my God, you're still on that. It was just a stupid car. I stood up slowly. You're right. It was just a car. Just like this is just debt. Just like I'm just your practical, boring sister who'll bail you out because I have nothing better to do with my life. Exactly. So you'll help? My phone buzzed. A notification from my investment app. Another significant gain. No. The silence was deafening. What do you mean, no? Mom's voice had that dangerous edge. I mean, no. I'm not helping. I'm not giving you money. I'm not taking out loans. I'm not fixing this. Dad stood up. Peyton, be reasonable. Reasonable? I laughed. Like forging my signature was reasonable? Like stealing my car was reasonable? We didn't steal, Mom began. Save it. I pulled out my phone, showing them the credit report. I've already reported the fraud. The bank is investigating. They'll want to talk to all of you. Camilla's face went white. You can't do that. We'll get in trouble. Actions have consequences. I headed for the door. Wait, Mom grabbed my arm. Please, just once, be the bigger person. Help your sister. Help your family. I looked at her perfectly manicured hand on my arm, then at Camilla's tear-stained face, at Dad's nervous fidgeting. You want me to be the bigger person? Fine. Here's what's going to happen. I'm moving out. Tomorrow. You're going to confess to the bank that you forged my signature, and you're going to figure out your own mess. But where will you go? Dad asked. Don't worry about me. I'm practical, remember? I always figure things out. Camilla lunged forward. This isn't fair. You're supposed to be the responsible one, the reliable one. I am reliable. I opened the front door. I reliably know when I'm being used. My phone buzzed again. Clark, apartment's ready when you are. Keys at the front desk. You'll regret this, Camilla screamed after me. You're nothing without family. I turned back one last time. No, Camilla, I'm nothing with this family. That's the difference. The door closed behind me, cutting off their protests. In my pocket, my phone kept buzzing with notifications. More gains, more success they knew nothing about. I got into Clark's waiting car. How'd it go? Exactly as expected. I showed him my phone. And look, that tech startup we invested in just got bought out. His eyes widened at the number. Holy shit, Peyton. Yeah, I watched my childhood home disappear in the mirror. Turns out being practical can be pretty profitable. They'll come looking for you, you know, when they figure out they can't fix this themselves. I know. I smiled, thinking of my new apartment, my growing wealth, my carefully documented evidence of their fraud. Let them come. I'm not the same practical little doormat they're expecting. Clark grinned. No, you're definitely not. My phone lit up one last time. A text from Mom. Please, sweetie, you're our last resort. I turned off my phone. They had no idea how wrong they were. I wasn't their last resort anymore. I was their worst nightmare. The view from my new high-rise apartment made the city look almost peaceful. 30 floors up, you couldn't hear the traffic or see the chaos. You definitely couldn't hear my phone buzzing with the 20th ignored call from my family. A knock at the door interrupted my morning coffee. Through the peephole, I saw Wesley's familiar face, though he looked considerably less polished than his Instagram photos. I opened the door but kept the security chain on. Well, if it isn't the investment guru himself. Peyton! His smile was desperate. Thank God, I've been trying to reach you. Through my sister's blocked number, or through the 6 fake accounts that tried to follow me on Instagram? He shifted uncomfortably. Look, there's been a misunderstanding about the money you stole from my sister, or the crypto scam you tried to rope her into. I can explain everything. He glanced down the hallway nervously. Can I come in, please? I closed the door, undid the chain, and opened it fully. You have 5 minutes. He rushed in, then stopped short at the sight of my apartment. The modern furniture, the expensive art, the clear signs of wealth he hadn't expected. Nice place, he said carefully. Very upscale. Unlike your fake Rolex collection. I sat down, gesturing for him to do the same. 4 minutes. Okay, look, I know things got messy with Camila, but I heard you're different, smart, practical. You understand investments. Unlike you, he flinched. I have a real opportunity, big returns. I just need some capital to run another scam. I pulled out my phone, started recording. Tell me more about these opportunities. What are you doing? Getting evidence. I smiled. 3 minutes. He stood up abruptly. You're recording me? That's illegal. In my own home? After you came here to attempt fraud? I kept recording. Pretty sure the police would be interested in that. And your outstanding warrants in Florida. His face went pale. How did you... I'm practical, remember? I do my research. I stood up. Now, here's what's going to happen. You're going to repay every cent you stole from my sister. He laughed shakingly. Or what? Or this recording goes to the police, along with evidence of your other scams. Clark's very good at finding those, by the way. Clark? My friend, the one standing behind you. Wesley spun around. Clark stood in the doorway, arms crossed, looking distinctly unfriendly. This is insane. You're just some boring office worker. Camila says a lot of things. I stopped the recording. You have 48 hours to return her money. All of it. I can't. It's gone. Then I guess you'd better get creative. I opened the door. Tick-tock. After he fled, Clark burst out laughing. Did you see his face when I showed up? Perfect timing. I sent the recording to my secure cloud storage. Think he'll pay? After that performance, he'll find a way. My phone buzzed again. Mom's name flashed on the screen, followed by a text. The bank called. They're investigating us for fraud. How could you do this to your family? I showed Clark the message. Speaking of family, they're not going to give up easily, he warned. No, I walked to the window, looked down at the city below. Neither am I. Another buzz. Camila this time. Oh my God, just drove by your building. Since when can you afford to live there? What aren't you telling us? Clark read over my shoulder. They're circling. Let them. I opened my investment app, checked the latest returns. The practical daughters finally got something they want. Money. No. I smiled as another call from Mom lit up my screen. Power. The doorman called up. Miss Fox, your family is here. They're quite insistent about seeing you. I looked at Clark. Ready for the show? Are you? I thought about my car, about forged signatures, about years of being the reliable doormat, about Wesley's pathetic attempt at manipulation, about all the pieces falling perfectly into place. They wanted practical? I pressed the intercom. Send them up. Clark raised an eyebrow. What's the plan? I walked to my home office, pulled out a thick folder of bank statements, investment records, and legal documents. Everything I'd been gathering. Everything they never suspected. The plan is simple. They think they're here to demand help, to guilt me into fixing their mess. But they're actually here to learn what happens when you push the practical daughter too far. The elevator dinged. Footsteps approached. Multiple voices argued in the hallway. Showtime. I straightened my shoulders, touched the folder one last time. Years of being underestimated had led to this moment. The knocking started. Loud, desperate, familiar. I opened the door to face my family, smile firmly in place. Welcome to my practical life. This is impossible, Mom whispered, turning in a slow circle. How can you afford this place? Camilla ran her hand over my leather sofa. There's no way, not on your salary. Dad just stood there, taking in the floor-to-ceiling windows, the designer furniture, the clear signs of wealth they'd never suspected. Coffee? I gestured to the kitchen. We have a lot to discuss. We certainly do, Mom's voice rose, starting with how you could report your own family to the bank. I poured 4 cups of coffee, setting them on the glass coffee table next to my folder. Clark stood quietly in the corner, watching. Who's he? Camilla demanded. The friend who's been helping me invest. I sat down, opened the folder. You might want to see this. Mom snatched the first page. Her face went white. This can't be right. What? Camilla grabbed it. Holy shit. Peyton, how did you? Hard work, smart investments, being practical. I spread out more documents. Everything you've mocked me for, actually. Dad leaned forward. These returns are incredible. Why didn't you tell us? Like you told me about selling my car or forging my signature? The room went quiet. That's different, Mom started. You're right. It is different. I pulled out their loan application with my forged signature. This is fraud. This is criminal. We're your family. Camilla stood up. You can't do this to us. Sit down. My voice was ice. You haven't seen the best part yet. I played the recording of Wesley from earlier, watched their faces as they heard him admit to the scam, heard my threats, heard his fear. You set him up? Camilla's voice shook. I protected you. Again. Even after everything. I stopped the recording. He'll return your money. That still leaves the loan, Dad muttered, and the credit cards. And my ruined credit score. I pulled out another document. Here's how this goes. You have 2 options. Mom straightened her spine. We're your parents. You don't give us options. Option 1. I press charges for fraud. You face criminal penalties. I walk away clean. You wouldn't dare. Option 2, I continued, you signed these papers. Full confession to the bank, legal agreement to never use my name again, complete financial separation. Camilla laughed nervously. This is crazy. You're our safety net, our practical one. You can't just... Watch me. I stood up. You have 10 minutes to decide. Or what? Mom challenged. I nodded to Clark, who pulled out his phone. Or the police get an anonymous tip about financial fraud, with evidence. Dad reached for the papers. We should sign. George, Mom grabbed his arm. She's bluffing. She wouldn't destroy her own family. My family? I laughed. You mean the people who stole my car? Who forged my signature? Who called me boring and practical while stealing everything I worked for? We did it for Camilla, Mom protested. She needed consequences. I slammed my hand on the table. You all did, and now you've got them. 9 minutes. Camila started crying. This isn't fair. You're supposed to help me. Like you helped me get to work? 8 minutes. Dad picked up a pen. We should sign. Don't you dare. Mom stood up. Peyton, if you do this. 7 minutes. Clark's finger hovered over his phone. The clock ticked. Coffee grew cold. 6 minutes. Dad grabbed the papers, started signing. Mom collapsed onto the sofa, mascara running. Camila stared out the window, shoulders shaking. I hate you, she whispered. I know. I watched Dad sign the last page, but I don't care anymore. Mom signed next, hand trembling. You'll regret this. When you're alone, I'm not alone. I glanced at Clark. I'm just not yours anymore. Camilla took the pen last. This isn't over. Actually, it is. I collected the signed papers. The doorman will show you out. That's it? Mom's voice cracked. Years of family just ended? The family ended when you sold my car. I pressed the elevator button. This is just catching up to reality. They filed out, broken and bitter. As the elevator doors closed, I heard Camila's last shot. Have fun being practical and alone. Clark put his hand on my shoulder. You okay? I looked around my beautiful apartment, thought about my growing wealth, my freedom, my power. I'm better than okay. I smiled. I'm finally free. My phone buzzed. A notification from my investment app. Another successful trade. Want to get dinner? Clark asked. Celebrate? Actually, I picked up my laptop. I want to look at properties abroad. I think it's time for a bigger change. He grinned. Now that's practical. You're moving where? Ella's voice echoed through the restaurant. Several heads turned our way. London, I repeated, stirring my coffee. The firm offered me a position in their international division. Better salary, better opportunities. But what? Camilla's former best friend looked stunned. What about your family? What about them? They're a mess, Peyton. Complete disaster. Camilla's working as a waitress. Your mom had to sell her jewelry. Your dad? Not my problem anymore. I checked my phone. Another message from Clark about our London apartment hunt. They made their choices. Camilla says they're about to lose the house. I set my phone down. Is that why you asked to meet? To guilt me? No, She fidgeted with her napkin. They really thought you'd cave. That you'd rescue them at the last minute. Like always? Yeah, she looked up. But you're different now. Stronger. My phone buzzed again. This time, a text from Mom. Please call us. We need to talk. Your father isn't well. Still trying. I showed Ella the message. Still manipulating. Can you blame them? You're their only hope. I was never their hope. I was their backup plan. And now I'm neither. I stood up, dropping cash for the bill. Outside, Clark was waiting in his car. How'd it go? Predictably. They sent Ella to soften me up. Did it work? What do you think? He grinned, pulling into traffic. I think our flight to London is in 3 weeks. My phone rang. Dad's number. Should I answer? I asked Clark. Your call. I picked up. Hello? Kiddo. Dad's voice was rough. We need to talk, face to face. Nothing to talk about. Please. Your mother, she's not handling things well. And Camila, still not my problem. We're selling the house, he blurted. Everything's gone wrong. We need our practical daughter. I laughed. Funny how I'm suddenly useful again. Peyton, please, one meeting. That's all I ask. I looked at Clark, who nodded slowly. Fine. One meeting, my apartment, 1 hour. They arrived looking shabby, defeated. Mom's designer clothes replaced by department store basics. Camila's perfect makeup smudged from crying. Nice place, Dad said weakly. Really, nice. What do you want? Mom burst into tears. We've lost everything. The house is in foreclosure, the cars are gone, Camila's working double shifts. Welcome to real life. I stayed standing, where actions have consequences. You have to help us. Camila stepped forward. You're rich now. You can what? Enable you more? Fix your mistakes? Be your practical safety net? We're family, shouted. No, I pulled out my laptop. We're strangers who share DNA, and I'm leaving the country in 3 weeks. The silence was absolute. Leaving? Dad whispered. London. New job, new life. I opened my email, showed them the offer letter. Far away from here. You can't, Camila grabbed my arm. You can't leave us like this. I shook her off. Like you left me stranded without a car? Like that? That was different, Mom protested. We did that for Camila. Always for Camila. I walked to the window. Well, this is for me. I'll tell everyone what you did, Camila threatened, how you abandoned your family. Go ahead, I turned back. Tell them how you stole from me, forged my signature, destroyed my credit. Tell them everything. Dad stepped between us. Please, we're begging you. Help us one last time. No, we'll do anything, Mom whispered. Anything? I raised an eyebrow. Then do this. Leave. Accept the consequences of your actions. Live with your choices. Like you're living with yours? Camila spat. Exactly. I opened my door. Goodbye. They filed out, broken and angry. Mom's tears, Dad's slumped shoulders, Camila's final glare. Clark emerged from my office once they were gone. You okay? Better than okay. I looked at my laptop, at the London offer letter. I'm free. They'll try again. Let them. I closed the laptop. I'm done being practical for people who only want me when they're desperate. My phone lit up with messages. Mom begging, Dad guilt-tripping, Camila threatening. I blocked them all. Ready for dinner? Clark asked. We should celebrate your freedom. I looked around my apartment, thought about London, about the future I'd built while they weren't watching. Yes, I said, I'm ready for everything. The sun set over the city, painting the sky in colors of change. Somewhere across town, my family was facing their consequences, and I was facing my future. The London rain tapped against my office window as I scrolled through my social media feed. Ella had tagged me in a post, my old house, now listed for sale at a fraction of its worth. Below it, Camila's latest update. Sometimes rock bottom has a basement. #struggling. #need a miracle. My phone buzzed. Clark's message. Ready for lunch? Big news. I grabbed my umbrella and headed down to our favorite cafe near the Thames. Clark was already there, grinning like he'd won the lottery. You'll never guess who emailed me, he said as I sat down. Wesley? Better. Your sister. I nearly choked on my water. What? He pulled out his phone. Listen to this. Dear Clark, I know we've never properly met, but I need to reach Peyton. Mom and Dad won't admit it, but we're about to be homeless. I'm not asking for money this time. I just want to apologize. Really apologize. Please. Right, I scoffed. Because they've changed so much. Actually, he showed me more screenshots. Look at her recent posts. No more designer clothes. She's working 2 jobs, teaching yoga on the side. So maybe hitting rock bottom actually taught them something. I stirred my coffee. Or maybe they're getting better at manipulation. Only one way to find out. I sighed. You want me to call her. I want you to be sure about all of it. He leaned back. You've won, Peyton. You're successful, free, living your best life. Maybe it's time to what? Forgive them? To stop letting them have any power over you at all. My phone lit up. A video call from an unknown number. Camila. Speak of the devil, I muttered. Answer it, Clark urged. What's the worst that could happen? I accepted the call. Camila's face appeared, makeup free, hair pulled back. She looked different. Peyton, oh God, you actually answered. I'm hanging up if this is about money. It's not. I mean, we're broke, yes. The house is being auctioned tomorrow, but that's not why I'm calling. Then why? Because I get it now. She looked directly into the camera. What it's like to work horrible jobs, to take the bus, to be practical. I stayed silent. I was awful to you. We all were, and I'm not asking you to fix it. I needed you to know that I understand now. What we did, what I did. Understanding doesn't change anything. I know. She smiled sadly. But maybe this will. I'm proud of you, for standing up to us, for being stronger than I ever was. Clark watched me carefully as I processed her words. Mom and Dad? I finally asked, still in denial, still hoping for miracles. She shrugged. But I'm not. I'm getting my yoga teaching certification, starting over. Why tell me this? Because you were right about everything, and I needed you to know that at least one of us learned from it. I looked at Clark, who nodded encouragingly. Camila? Yeah? Send me the yoga studio's information. Her eyes widened. What? Not for me, but I know some people in the wellness industry here in London. Maybe they need an instructor. You do that? After everything? I'm not doing it for you. I'm doing it because it's practical. I allowed myself a small smile. And that's who I am. Tears rolled down her cheeks. Thank you. Don't thank me yet. You'll have to earn it. Prove yourself. I will, I promise. After we hung up, Clark raised his eyebrow. Well what? Feel better? I thought about the anger I'd carried, the satisfaction of revenge, the weight of it all. Actually, yes. I pulled out my laptop. Now, help me find a legitimate yoga studio that won't mind a reformed Instagram princess. That's my practical girl. Stop. I threw a napkin at him. But you're right about one thing. What's that? I did win. Not by destroying them, but by becoming someone they can't destroy. My phone buzzed again. Mom this time, probably having heard from Camila. I declined the call. Not ready for that yet? Clark asked. No. I closed my laptop. Some bridges stay burned, but maybe new ones can be built. Eventually. Practically. One sister at a time? One choice at a time. I stood up. Now, about that big news you mentioned? He grinned. Right. The investment firm wants to make you partner. I laughed, gathering my things. The rain had stopped, and London's skyline glittered with possibility. Sometimes karma looks nothing like forgiveness. Sometimes it looks like freedom, like strength, like becoming exactly who you were meant to be. And sometimes, just sometimes, it looks like helping someone else find their way there too. Practically speaking, of course.